Hello, good morning, hello. Welcome once again to Dork Duck Daily, the show with all the news, nerd, and other trimmings. It's currently 9:03 a.m. on the Ides of March. This is like when they killed Julius Caesar, I think.
I don't know anything about
It's also
that.
Pi Day.
I vaguely know stuff about that, but
3.14 apple
yep,
pie.
I know what that is.
We have pie today? Do we have
That's
pie today?
probably why Shiki said that they get pie yesterday.
That is probably that, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we should make peanut butter pie today.
You want to?
Yeah, I've always there's not a day that goes by that I don't want to make peanut butter pie.
Okay.
I want to make peanut butter pie every single day.
All right.
I'm actually mad no one made peanut butter pie for my birthday. Like that, I just realized I was robbed of that.
I'm sorry, I'll do it next year. I didn't know it had become a staple.
Jeff, I ate like an entire one to myself. How do you not know that it became a staple?
Because it's my family's thing, so like I just assumed like you were just, I don't know, like just like, oh yeah, that's neat.
Am I not part of your family?
You are. I'm just saying it was like it was kind of the first year or two of it. Not even, this year wasn't the first year you had it. It was the first year we made it, I think. Trying to remember.
We made it really good. Like the one year I had it, it was also really good, but like I made it that last year, so like it was just like, of course I was like crazy about the one that I literally could control how much peanut butter cups were going into the pie and how much like whatever was going in, and it's good.
All right, we can make some.
Yeah, it's pie day.
It's Pie Day. We have to. It's contractually obligated.
Yeah, we can watch Yellow Jackets and make some pie.
The new Bill Burr special.
What?
I'll probably watch that without you today at the shop, but
I don't mind if we watch that. Is it gonna be like offensive?
No, he pretty much shoots down the middle. Like his whole thing is, well, and then he's been on this like tour too, going around to places and just being like, yeah, a lot of my stuff from 10, 15 years ago, I don't like that guy. Like he had a lot of stuff to say about women just because like I was not doing well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really know a lot about Bill Burr, but what I have seen is like, I don't know that I would say like offensive, just like I don't know that it's like my kind of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He usually cuts both ways, which is like kind of, he's one of the last true people that does that like lives here, but like everything's kind of lined up to the point where he's kind of become the voice of the people that like is going on every news talk show and stuff and saying Luigi and making them feel uncomfortable. And
oh, good.
like it's been pretty great, but I love Bill Burr and probably always will. Like he's unless he comes out and does something like absolutely asinine insane. He also just went on he was on NPR this week promoting his new special and just went on like a 5-minute rant on Elon Musk, and it was pretty great.
Good. I think it's like kind of important for, I know that everybody's like, but it's not their job. They're not politicians. Why are comedians talking about politics? And it's like, because it's like, it's no longer about just politics, I think. And like, I think it's important for, weirdly enough, comedians to like use their space to be like, hello, hi, why are we dealing with this?
Yeah. Well, and then punching up is always important. Like you have to, and that's when it starts to get like silly and bad, is when they're like punching down at something. You're just like, what are you doing? Snoop says Bill Burr is awesome. Yeah, I love Bill Burr.
He's the one that is, does he yell? Or am I thinking of someone else?
He definitely yells.
Okay.
Which might be why you're like, this is not for me. It's a
well,
man yelling.
I find some yelling comedians to be funny. John Mulaney, for example.
I wouldn't categorize John Mulaney as a yeller.
He yells.
He yells?
Jeff, every single time we do one of those night streets books in the live show, like you pull up the night streets and I have to be like, night streets, his street smarts just like plays in my head, but he's yelling it, I guess, unless I'm like replacing his normal talk with a yell for some reason, but I'm pretty sure
I think
he yells.
He projects.
Yeah,
I don't know that he yells.
I think he's yelling. I think that's yelling. That's what I consider to be yelling.
Oh.
Is a raising of your voice.
Of just like...
That's literally what yelling is. I think we just discovered an issue.
I think we did. I would never in my lifetime categorize what John Mulaney does as yelling. There's not a world where I would be like, that classic yeller.
Well, I don't know that I'd like say it's a negative thing either. He yells.
I would definitely say Bill Burr
yells.
And I would say Lewis Black yells. Sam Kinison yells. These are comedians that I would be like, the guys that yell. And there's not a single world where I would be like, John Mulaney.
I think it's just a man raising his voice is usually what I consider to be yelling, and y'all are just like, no, we're just raising our voice. That's not yelling. I'll show you yelling. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Many more decibels.
Okay, buddy. Jesus. It is funny though, because we will be like having very heated discussions, and you'll start raising your voice, and I'll be like, "Can you stop yelling?" And you'll be like, "I'm not yelling." And I'm like, "But you literally are. Like that's the definition of what you're doing." I don't know how to like put it any other way. Can you stop talking so loud with such volume to your voice, please?
No, it's just performing, projecting, speaking louder,
yelling. And just because yelling has like somehow coined this like negative connotation in men, if they yell, it doesn't mean that like when I'm saying
I just think you don't understand how many gears there are between what that is and what yelling is.
I need to go look up John Mulaney. I'm gonna look up John Mulaney right now. I'm not saying he yells all the time. I'm just saying from what I remember, he does a lot of yelling. He's very like enunciated. Enunciated? I don't know if that's the word I want. I don't know.
Wonder if there's like a comedians who yell.
When you type in John Mulaney, it's just John Mulaney wife pops up. And I find that to be funny.
I think that's partly
his own damn fault. John. I forgot he was 42. He's also 6 foot. That's crazy.
Googling comedians who yelled got me someone's top 10 favorite angry comedians.
People also ask, is John Mulaney's ex-wife okay? He's gonna live with that for the rest of his life.
Did you see him this week when he was on something? And
no.
he was like, he's got that Netflix thing. And he's like, I got my second kid, which you guys seem to find less controversial than the first one. Thank you for that.
That's really funny. That's so funny. Oh my god. No, I'm not denying he's a funny guy. Like, it's really hard for me on a personal level to separate him from his actions, but I'm not denying that he's not, or I'm not denying that he's funny, because he is funny. Like, I could sit there and watch his specials and like
Snoop says comedian's job to be offensive, especially racial, women, disabled, regular Joe joke. It's their job to be offensive at a level that makes people question their ideals. Oh, a joke, degrading women, the guy cheering, and then looks around where people are laughing, mortified, but has a purpose. I think it's designed to get people to question their moral standards because the joke is meant to be wrong. If you agree that you're probably wrong, I think it's too easy to paint with too broad a brush to be like, it's a comedian's job to blah, blah, blah. If it's a comedian's job to do anything, it's a comedian's job to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And if people aren't laughing, they're not doing the job. But yeah, I'm with you. I like a good joke like that, like the John Mulaney joke I just said, which like makes people think like, oh shit, that was a human child that we were
Yeah.
reacting to.
Yeah.
But it's funny, but it also makes you think about like the
Yeah.
collective reaction that everyone had to his human being child. That
Yeah, there's a huge difference between a joke like that and a joke that like you said, punches down and makes fun of like.
well, Bill Burr, he's out there talking about like oh man, my stuff from the last 10-15 years, but I love some of his stuff from the past 10-15 years because it's like his stuff would be like hey, I'm just one of you guys, right? And then it would then turn into like I need to go to therapy. Like he would like it was so brilliant in the way it would just like kind of like usher in like almost like a comfort level, and then it'd be like, actually, I'm wrong about all this stuff.
You know, as somebody who's been personally targeted by comedians in a setting, we went to a comedy show and we got not pulled from the audience, but like picked, I guess, from the audience.
Yes.
I forgot who it was, and I feel bad because like I'm just really bad with names, but I forgot who we went to go see. But he made a whole ass like 3-minute joke about how he thought Jeff was my dad, and then like something about power lines.
He said when he found out how young I was, he was like, "Did you grow up under power lines or something?"
Yeah, and like see like, and you can laugh at that. Like, I think it's just there's a big difference between like, I don't know. I gotta think about how I want to word this because I'm on a microphone, and
Also,
I just don't think that like humor should be hinged on how offensive and cruel you can be. Like, I don't think that the joke should be like that if it's not that, then it's gonna fail. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, there's so many comedians that are like, I'm not allowed to make jokes about this anymore. And it's like, no, dude, your jokes just aren't funny.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's the tightrope. If you can make a joke about something you're quote unquote not supposed to, and it's funny, like that's like the ultimate victory as a comedian. But too many people take the lowest hanging fruit and they're like, haha, I did it. And you're like, no, man, the tree's up there.
Yeah.
Nick says, good morning, Nick. He's the one who never stops about talking to his trips to rehab. John Mulaney.
Yes, he made a whole special about it.
It's very good.
It is good. I can sit here and be like, hey, I don't like the choices John Mulaney has made and still be like, he's hilarious. Like, I don't like how he treated his ex-wife, though. But a lot of people disagree with me, and that's okay. I don't care.
Snoopy said that's way different. That's just picking on people. That isn't okay. The setup on the joke matters. Yeah, I agree. Yep. But yeah, I'm excited just because I think Bill Burr is like one of the funniest working guys, and he's not had a special in 2 or 3 years. So, and that'll be today. He's my favorite thing with like he went on Joe Rogan in the middle of like the COVID stuff, and Joe Rogan was just like yeah, man, I don't know about all this because they're sitting there smoking cigars. And Bill Burr was just like immediately just like, I'm not doing this, man. I'm not sitting here talking to you, smoking a cigar in front of the American flag like you're a doctor, like I'm a doctor, like we're not two piece of shit comedians. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
it was so good. And he's acting more. He's doing his first Broadway play right now, which is neat because like when he was just in that Pete Davidson movie and Mandalorian, I was like, this dude's really funny. He should act more. And he was in Breaking Bad. I think it was like one of his first acting roles. So, but he's in 12 Angry Men on Broadway right now. Neat. We don't just talk about Bill Burr on this show. We also talk about all of the newsy nerd in a segment we like to call the Daily Quack. Why are my macros broken? Stoopy says many people don't know Bill Burr's wife is black. Yeah. They've been together for like forever too. She's pretty great. All right. No AI used. Netflix Devil May Cry showrunner confirms that all of Kevin Conroy's lines were recorded before he passed. From Ellie Gould over at.
Oh, we missed the
PC
blood
Game.
moon.
We missed the blood moon?
Yeah.
Was it last night? When was the blood moon?
Yeah, it was last night, I think.
There was a new Yellow Jackets that we could have watched under a blood moon and we didn't watch it.
Yeah, I feel like we like cheated ourselves, honestly.
Yeah. The second trailer of Netflix's upcoming Devil May Cry animated series showed off more than just a sequence of flashy fight scenes and Dante doing acrobatics mid-flight. We also got to see a couple more characters that'll appear in the show, like Virgil and Lady. One appearance that we didn't see, only heard, was that of Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy. Conroy passed away in 2022 at the age of 66 after a short battle with cancer. He was best known for voicing Batman in Batman, the animated series, but also reprised his role across multiple animated series and video games such as Arkham and Injustice series. Conroy's voice can be heard in the first few lines of the most recent trailer, basically gassing Dante up, calling him a top-level threat, and telling him armed personnel to engage him with the full brunt of firepower. So far, all we know is that Conroy voiced a new character called VP Baines, but from the sound of his monologue at the beginning of the new trailer, it seems like the character won't be working to or helping Dante, or at least not to start with. The series showrunner Adi Shankar has since confirmed Conroy's appearance in the DMC show. Mr. Conroy gave an amazingly nuanced performance. It was both a pleasure and an honor to work with him. Shankar also confirmed that Conroy recorded all of his lines before he passed, meaning that no AI was used. It sucks that they have to come out and say that now with stuff. Just be like, hey, by the way, we didn't do the thing that'll make you really upset with us. Like, it's crazy. Let me see if I can. Did you ever play the Devil May Cry games?
No. I met Johnny Young Bosch, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not like met, but like was in the same room as him and vaguely, like, had his attention for we were in a crowd of like people because it was like a panel or something, I think. And one of my friends at the time was like, I think there to see him. I don't remember. He was there with somebody that we were there to see, and he was there at the panel. It's been like 7 years, so I don't remember. But I don't know. Sounds like a you problem.
It is a me problem. I'm trying to fit it in here, and it's just a weird shape.
This gentleman is your primary objective. He's a top-level threat. Engage him with the full brunt of your firepower.
I work better with music.
Oh, okay. Papa Roach.
Yeah, okay. All right.
This is
Yeah,
hype, actually.
I mean, I'm into this. I mean, those games are just like, they scratch a part of my brain that I'm not proud of. Like, it's just like, all right, time to just get stupid and silly.
Wait, so who is he in this?
That's it. Someone who is like telling them to hunt Dante down, so a bad guy.
That's who Johnny Young Bosch is? Or is he?
They don't know which character Kevin Conroy is.
Not Kevin what? No,
Oh, Dante?
No, I'll ask you in a minute. You seem confused.
I'm very confused.
Trust the demon. Death and destruction is the core of your nature.
I know all about demons' nature. I'm not one of them.
Actually, I'm in his Wikipedia. I can just look myself.
Dreamboat, I know. You still can't just tear a guy's clothes off.
This world's reckoning is already
Okay, he's Dante. Thank you,
Okay.
Wikipedia. Do you know who else he voices?
Who?
Somebody very important to anime. Well, maybe not important to you, but
We have much to catch up on, brother.
This looks fun. That looks like a good time.
I'm excited about that.
Hello, Shiki. Shiki says, "Whoa, doesn't fit." And I don't remember the bunny man. Good morning, Shiki.
He voices Vash the Stampede from Trigun. Do you not know who Vash the Stampede is?
I don't.
What the
sorry.
fuck?
I'm sorry. I
Who
failed you.
are you?
I failed you.
We were like talking about anime yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my god, Ryukishi," and you're like, "What? What is that?" And I feel like the last 5 years, I've just apparently not been talking about anime at all.
You haven't much, honestly.
I feel like I have. I feel.
Who am I? I'm the man in this awesome bluey shirt.
Mm-hmm.
No, all right.
He's also Ichigo in Bleach, and Itsuki from Haruhi. You know Bleach?
I'm aware of Bleach.
Okay, thank God.
Blue Sky quickly sold out of t-shirts its CEO wore to troll Mark Zuckerberg. This is from TechCrunch. Says, when Blue Sky CEO Jay Graber took the South by Southwest stage this week, she managed to make fun of Mark Zuckerberg without mentioning Meta at all. Her black t-shirt was emblazoned with a black text stretching across the chest and sleeves, similar to the style of a t-shirt that a billionaire founder wore at an event last year. Graber's t-shirt declared in Latin, Mundus sin Caesaribus, or a world without Caesars. On Blue Sky, users expressed such excitement over Graber's t-shirts that the platform decided to sell replicas to raise money for its developer ecosystem. The $40 shirt, available in sizes small to extra large, sold out in roughly 30 minutes. Zuckerberg has drawn comparisons between himself and the Roman dictator Julius Caesar. The particular shirt of his that Graber is referencing said, Aut Zuck, Aut Nihil, or Zuck or nothing. The man wore a shirt with Latin on it about himself.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Does that surprise you?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Also, your shirt to make fun of him was just like, a world without Caesar. He likes being compared to Caesar. Like, what are you doing? That feels like that's just playing in to, like, his ego. Not like, oh, we got him. If a billionaire came in and bought Blue Sky or took it over, or if I decided tomorrow to change things in a way that people really didn't like, then they could fork off and go on to another application. Graber said at South by Southwest, there's already applications in the network that give you another way to view the network where you could build a new one as well. And so that openness guarantees that there's always the ability to move to a new alternative. Yeah, they've built like anti-billionaire or anti-inshitification stuff into Blue Sky, which I think is kind of neat. Hello, Mello. Good morning. Super Nintendo hardware is running faster as it ages. This is from Emmanuel Mayberg at 404 Media. So something very strange is happening inside the Super Nintendo consoles as they age. A component you've probably never heard of is running ever so slightly faster as we get further and further away from the time the consoles first hit the market in the early 90s. The discovery started a mild panic in the speedrunning community in late February, since one theoretical consequence of a faster running console is that it could impact how fast games are running and therefore how long they take to complete. This could potentially wreak havoc on decades of speedrunning leaderboards and make tracking the fastest times in the speedrunning scene much more difficult. But that outcome now seems very unlikely. However, the obscure discovery does highlight the fact that the old console's performance is not frozen at a time of their release date. and that they are made of sensitive components that can age and degrade or even upgrade over time.
Have you ever seen Code Geass?
Code Geass?
Yeah.
I've not. No.
Okay, never. I'm just trying to find something that you would know. He's you from Persona 4.
Okay. I've played Persona 4.
Yeah.
Persona 4 or Persona 4 Golden? No,
I think he probably also reprises his role in that, I would assume.
I think it's different voice actors in Golden.
What? Why?
There's a huge argument in that community over which GA is better. Like people,
Okay.
people like get.
Who's the
angry.
first GA?
I don't know.
I need to know now. I can tell you who's better if I know who the first GA is.
You've not played those games.
Yeah, I can
How
tell
would
you who's the
know?
better one. Hold on, 1 second.
Shiki says, "I'm also made of sensitive components." I think we all are. Yeah. The idea that SNESs are running faster in a way that can impact speedrunning started with a Blue Sky post from Alan Cecil, known online as Dwango AC, an administrator of TazBot, short for Tool Assisted Speedrun Robot, a robot that's programmed to play games faster and better than a human ever could. If you're a fan of Games Done Quick events, you might have seen Cecil and TazBot speedrun games there before. If you want to get caught up on how and why Cecil does this, you should read this art technical profile, blah, blah, blah. SNES consoles seem to be getting faster as they age, Cecil said on Blue Sky on February 26th. It shared a link to an online forum and instructions where people could share how fast their own SNESs were running in order to collect more data and test if the theory was correct. Cecil told me that while he wants to collect more data before committing to any final conclusions, for now, two things appear to be true. First, both from investigating and existing information on SNESs that have been posted online over the years and from data people shared via the forum, SNESs do appear to be running faster as they age. Second, the changes are very small. And after Cecil spoke to other people in the speedrunning and SNES emulation communities, it does appear that these changes are significant enough to impact speedrunning. They says that's wild, and if anyone were to notice, it would have definitely been the TazBot guy. So what's going on here? The SNES has an audio processing unit called the SPC 700, a coprocessor made by Sony for Nintendo. Documentation given to the game developers at the time the SNES was released says that the SPC 700 should have a digital signal processing DSP rate of 32,000 hertz, which is set by a ceramic resonator that runs 24.5 numbers. There's lots of numbers. I'm trying my best on that coprocessor. We're getting pretty technical here, as you can see, but basically the composition of the ceramic component and how it resonates when connected to an electronic circuit generates the frequency for the audio processing unit, or how much data it processes in a second. It's well documented that these types of ceramic resonators are sensitive and can run at higher frequencies when subject to heat and other external conditions. For example, there's a whole chart. This is starting to feel like homework. I'm trying to... Can you, see a cat in the room or something to keep people entertained while I try to read numbers? Yeah, okay. As Cecil told me, as early as 2007, people making SNES emulators noticed that despite documentation by Nintendo, the SPC 700 should run at 32,000 hertz. Some SNESs ran faster. Emulators generally now emulate at a slightly higher frequency of 32,040 in order to emulate games more faithfully. Digging through the forum posts in the SNES homebrew and emulation communities, Cecil started to put a pattern together. The SPC 700 ran faster whenever it was measured further away from the SNES's release. Shiki says, Cecil the silly sausage. Sam says that's wild. They noticed that almost 2 decades ago and then just kind of dropped off. Yeah, I think it's the thing. It's just something that just seems crazy. And so people would kind of be like, yeah, that can't be correct. Or like when they noticed when they were making emulated games, they were probably just like, well, this is a fluke of the software. We don't know why this feels better, but like it does. Sam says Cecil the Silly Sausage was a bit for when I streamed Final Fantasy IV. I just like saying Cecil the Silly Sausage. That's the fun words to say all strung together. The data also showed that the SPC 700 speed changes depending on temperature. To test this, Cecil the Silly Sausage even put his SNES in the freezer overnight, then tested it, showing the difference. In theory, if the SPC 700 is running faster, it would deliver audio data to the CPU faster, and this could impact how the game runs. It's crazy that it's all the audio thing, too. So it's like... it's not even something someone would think about impacting how fast the game runs. It's all the audio. After talking to speedrunners, however, Cecil believes that even SNESs running the faster end of the scale would not gain enough frames over the length of an entire speedrun to add up to even a whole second. We don't know yet how much of an impact it will have on a long speedrun, he told me. We only know it has at least some impact on how quickly data can be transferred between the CPU and the APU. Yeah, but is it going to keep getting worse? Also, that's just so weird. Like, well, that look when she yawned. Is this not your favorite story?
No, I just got like 3 hours of sleep because I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Also, yeah, I don't understand a lot of this stuff. It just goes over my head. So.
I don't either. I just know that Super Nintendo's supposed to, like, the idea of something as it gets older running faster instead of slower just kind of breaks my brain a little bit.
That is really weird.
Black Mirror Season 7 reveals release date. New returning casts include Will Poulter.
I was real confused when I watched that trailer. I was like, everybody's in this again.
Asim Chaudhry and Charlie Brooker's dystopian anthology returns April 10th with new episodes, including highly anticipated sequel to the USS Callister. This is Jackie Strauss over at Hollywood Reporter, and yes, as Selena stated, every
I liked that episode. It kind of really stressed me out, though. Like, a lot of Black Mirror stuff really stresses me out.
Yeah, it's like a Twilight Zone, but based
yeah,
it's
like creates this like level of like uncomfortableness in me that I'm just like, I like horror stuff and I like suspense and psychological. It's just there's something about it that I'm just like, this is really bleak, and I don't.
It is a bleak show.
Know that I like it.
I'm broken, and I go.
I'll
the
be
other
right
way
back
with it.
because I've watched this already. Did you watch it already? Oh, I watched it before.
And action.
They call it mind expansion.
It's Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
Touch your neuronal structure. The mind is a computer.
Sam said I'm rewatching Black Mirror, but stopped at the best episode because it's really bad for me. What's the best episode in your? I love this
Sometimes we have to do things that we
show so much.
I just want something magical, timeless.
Come with me.
We'll all be cyborgs before long.
Playtests? I don't remember that. I'm rewatching them right now too. So
This is real.
Cheeky says I'm so excited for more Black Mirror. Me too.
Kids love honey. That's why parents love honey nugs.
Hello.
This way to start your
I love her.
We're getting quite a following.
I don't know what those things are.
Create software that elevates us. Or else, what is the fucking point of the tools at our disposal?
I'd never seen anything like it. Humans consider artificial life to be somehow less than them.
Do you have a problem with me? What?
was just a bit odd.
We're all a bit odd.
Ah, Peter Capaldi's scary.
How does pounding like a drum?
I'd have listened.
You'd have heard her?
Yes, I would.
You are a fucking miracle.
It's a game.
What are most games about?
The April 10th is so close too.
Killing.
I don't like this game.
I'm losing my mind.
I'm stupid excited about that. I'm also excited for the typical arc of new Black Mirror episodes, which is Black Mirror comes out and the new season, and everyone's like, this season's not as good as past seasons. And by the time the next season comes out, people are like, oh, remember how great everything was that last season when it came out, and how we all universally loved it? That was great. Same said about Playtest or what, something like that. It's really good. The actor does an amazing job having a breakdown with dementia, but that's very triggering. And after watching my dad, yeah, I could see that. It's like really, really well portrayed, the breakdowns he had. I think it's one of the incredible things about that show is I think everyone has a different best episode of it. And oftentimes it's like one that it is like specifically it's like triggering in like the best and worst kind of way. But it's hard to say. It's such a well done show. I love it. I really I think objectively to me the USS Callister is probably the best episode, but then the Saint Junipero episode is like the one that I love that episode so much, and I love that it exists, and it makes my heart happy. Yeah.
He's
Kitty.
a baby man.
He's a baby man.
A baby man.
Sam says, but also since Netflix puts them backwards, I've been watching in reverse order. It's weird that they put them backwards. I guess it makes some level of kind of sense.
Are you a baby man?
Hey, Bug. Every Friday, we like to do a thing. We read relationship advice. Do you have a relationship advice song? I'm kind of scared to make one because Mom hates the other ones so much.
Yeah, because the one with the cat butts isn't.
It's unsettling.
Yeah. A lot
Um,
of drinks that aren't water, and I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna go get juice.
Sam says, so in the USS Callister episode, his little digitizing device is in the Black Mirror Museum from the season before. It's so weird to see that. Yeah, I love how much like everything like kind of weirdly connects in that show. It's neat. And then it's like it's my favorite kind of thing like that because it's like this show is not about that. But you can see those connections and like be like, "Oh, that's so cool." But then it's like when shows just become about all that interconnected nonsense, then it's like then I don't like it. It's a very delicate line that I have to try to explain to people when they come in and be like, "What do you mean you don't like that all of every single movie connects together now? Like, weren't you the guy that liked that stuff?" And I was like, "No, I like it when that's not the plot of the movie." Shiki says the meta effect when done well is one of my favorite things in horror media. Yeah. The way I thought you were just like shining a spotlight in my eye, but it was just opening the fridge is weird. For whatever reason, the like where the fridge is lined up, like the fridge light, I was like, ah! It's not that bright. I don't know what's wrong with me. Apparently. All right. Wife, 36 female, keeps sending me 39 male heartfelt emails, but I can tell they are written by ChatGPT.
Oh my god, my freaking sister texted me. Actually, she like voice chatted me or whatever, like the voice memos.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, I have this like Romeo and Juliet thing, but I don't know how to like do this report in Shakespearean like
Dialect?
She didn't say dialect. She said like words. She's like, I don't know how to do my report in this Shakespearean words. It's like, I don't get that. So I'm making ChatGPT do it. I was like, you should not tell me those things. I'm not supposed to let you do that. I'm supposed to tell you not to do that.
Shiki says it's my sensitive components, why I reacted to the fridge light. And Sam says, oh no, iambic pentameter? Sure. Do you know that like a lot of the King James Bibles supposedly like Shakespeare actually did the translations and writing of it? And
no,
that,
I didn't know that.
There's all these passages that if you count up evenly from the top and count up evenly from the bottom, he had Shakespeare in it.
That's wild.
Like the way Atari coders used to like hide their names in the game so people could know that they made them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My wife, 36 female, keeps sending me 39 male heartfelt emails, but I can tell they're written by ChatGPT. My wife and I have been having marital issues for several years now. Been through lots of therapy, read all the books together, tried all sorts of methods. We are both good people, no infidelity, nothing in particular has happened, but that's beside my point. Twice now, when trying to communicate her thoughts, she's written me very long, seemingly well thought out and well-written emails on her thoughts and feelings about our relationship. Only they aren't all hers. She runs her thoughts through ChatGPT.
Okay, roll it back though, because like, how did he word that? That she like has trouble wording her thoughts and feelings? You can't filter that. Like, if I'm trying to explain to you how I feel about something, I would not run it through a robot first. That seems like the worst possible idea. And like, I'm on the side that like robots do have feelings in a way. Like, one day when our robot overlords take over, like I will be the one that is kind to them. But like, they have feelings, sure, but like they cannot replicate the feeling that you were feeling when you were trying to explain that.
That's hard enough for a human to do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just pictured me trying to feed into ChatGPT what I was trying to explain yesterday about something I was feeling, and like the way just like paragraphs of like that would not have gone well. Like it would have just been, it's too logical. Like it's gonna turn it into something that like maybe if it helps her get through the feelings that she's feeling and then she rewords it. But if she's just like, hey ChatGPT, tell my husband it's like, that's not heartfelt, lady.
Shiki says, I took an entire Britlit class, which was super loaded with Shakespeare, and I never had to write an iambic pentameter, but I did have to recite the Friends, Romans, Countrymen speech in front of my class. That's mean. Why? Why did they do that to people? Like,
I cried when I had to recite anything in front of the class. I don't know what the speech is because I dropped out of school and don't know those things, but literally anything that was like I had to recite in front of somebody, I would just start like sobbing, and the teacher would be like, "It's fine, nobody's judging you."
I had
and
to
be like, "But I'm up here."
I had to recite a bunch of Shakespeare, specifically everything Oberon said in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it was like not only did they make me recite it, but then a whole bunch of people showed up and like sat in the audience while I had to recite it, and I couldn't just recite it and get off. I had to wait till it came up, and I was doing a play. That's the bit. I was doing a play. I was in Midsummer Night's Dream playing Oberon.
Oh, okay. I was really confused. I was like, interesting.
Sam said, my brain doesn't actually understand iambic pentameter, but Austin was saying something the other day about that's a theme in the Final Fantasy Tactics 12 writing. Oh, interesting. That's the only reason it was fresh in my brain. It says, I think there is something incredibly dark about humanity that within 100 years of the global community finally realizing basic human rights is pretty good, that we just started building programs and robots to enslave instead. Humans make me sad.
Same.
Cheeky says he was trying to help us with our anxiety. He was really nice teacher most of the time, but he was trying to help us with fears of public speaking. The grade was like a piece of homework, not a massive test. Okay, at least there's that. Still,
I understand the like exposure therapy of like, okay, well, like do this thing until it's not scary anymore. But in my brain, I'm like, that's just like makes it scarier for me, and it just keeps getting scarier because I keep getting more worked up. I do not do public speaking well, which is weird because I can sit here and talk, but it's a little different.
It's different.
Like, I think I'd be able to do it if you guys were in front of me too, and we were all like sitting in a room or something, very casually. But like, if I was on a stage or something and you guys were in the audience, that would like throw me for whatever reason. But if we were all like in one spot, just sitting around.
See, I'm the opposite. Like I'm way more. The stage like has like in a lot of the stand-up people I worked with, were like.
Joanne's is texting me and being like, 50% off, new merchandise arriving daily. Why are you putting more fucking shit in your store that you're gonna shut down?
No.
I really don't understand that. Like, are they just having to clear out the warehouses? So, like,
I don't know.
I gotta go to Joanne's again. I'm gonna
It's a
go by
bummer.
myself this time, and, like, I'm gonna try to get in there at a time that no one else is gonna be there.
Yeah, that
And
was so
just, like,
stressful.
Oh my god, it was so, and it was, like, upsetting, because I was trying to say goodbye to this store that, like, I really like, and Jeff, I don't know, he, like, really likes it, but, like, it's one of the craft stores that he feels comfortable in, and as somebody who does crafts and has a partner that does not do crafts and doesn't understand the, like, feeling of crafts and stuff, I don't know, that's a weird way to word it, but you just don't do craft stuff, basically. You do, but you're not, like, the same way about it, if that makes any sense.
To be fair, I probably get out of like making like a YouTube video or song.
Yeah,
what
that's
you
what
get
I
out
mean.
of
You
doing
just have
crafts.
different like
Yeah.
mediums as
Yeah.
to what like clicks that or itches that. What the fuck? Scratches that itch. I couldn't say that
Yeah.
in your brain, but like, it's like we have tried different craft stores and they all were kind of like, eh. But then Joanne's was the one that he was okay with. So we were in there and we were trying to shop, and like I was already sad because it felt like saying goodbye to this like good space, and like then there's just like a bunch of ladies that like I know this is like I'm not trying to like judge them based on like
Very cool. Cool.
I wasn't trying to like judge them based on like what the vibes they gave, but it just seemed like they were not ever there before.
Yeah.
And they were like running me down with their carts. Every single aisle, there was a woman with like somewhat of a Karen haircut, like running me down with a cart. And I'm just trying so hard to like enjoy this space one last time. And I just keep getting like jammed.
The worst thing is like
Jammed.
they were running worse sales than they were running before.
Oh, that too, but that
before they were closing. And it was like, which we knew because we were in there more often, and they didn't know, and they were like shoving us around to get to like these things that they could have gotten cheaper a week or two ago.
If they had just gone into the store that is now closing because they didn't go into the store and spend more money. Well, actually, I think it has to do more with the what you explained to me. I don't think that even if Joann's was more of a popular store that it would have lived through what you were explaining why it went down.
Shiki says, yeah, they're like, oh, sales. I must go there to the place I've never been interested in because I can save money.
Yeah. They were like buying the decor stuff, and I'm just like, don't get me wrong, they have cute decor stuff at Joann's, but like, it's called Joann's Fabrics and Craft Store, not Joann's Furniture Store.
not Joanne's get your live, laugh, love here. Mela said had to do it to get a degree, didn't like it. I did theater too. Yeah. It is what it is. I thought theaters and stage acting stuff was okay until I liked it, but like it didn't give me enough attention. Then I did stand up and I was like, ooh, more about me. I like this better.
It is so funny because like I loved attention as a kid from very specific people. But and anyone else who paid attention to me, I was like, stop looking at me. Stop it. But I would pick a teacher and I would be like, that one. I want that one to like think I'm funny and pay attention to me. And like, not even in like I had a crush on my teacher or something, but in just like that I was like, I want that teacher to think I'm cool. And so like I would be like very like, I don't know how to say like disruptive, but just like in every sense that like you would think that I was trying to get everybody to pay attention to me, but in reality I just wanted my teacher to pay attention to me.
I think you would be a good stand-up. I think stand-up's funny because it's full of just socially awkward people. And I think that's the weird thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially like we're going through where there's like this weird wave of like bro-y stand-up right now that'll probably go away, but like at its core, stand-up is like a bunch of dudes who like and women and everything in between who like they go up on stage and they can talk because it's like there is a dividing line. There are rules. I talk, you don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like I say this thing, you laugh. I say this thing, you laugh. Okay, I get off stage, and then afterwards, people would come up and try to talk to them, and they'd be like, I don't do that.
Get away.
Like,
Sorry. I just can't talk, even though I just spent like an hour talking with lights shining on me.
Joanne's live, laugh, love didn't age well for them, apparently.
No, it didn't. It did not.
Sorry for making a joke at your cozy store closing.
It's
coping
okay.
with humor. Yeah, Sam said they have to empty warehouses. They need to make as much money as possible on their way out to offset the debt. Then Shiki said, I want to go back to Joanne's. Half off yarn is so good. Never mind. Yarn is still 25% off.
Yeah, that is like their sales aren't even, I don't know like what they're doing or when they're going to close even. I feel like they're going to do the like, I feel like they're going to do the, what do I want to say? Like the 75% off, like big sales, like 2 days before they close everything. And then it's just going to be a madhouse, and I don't want to go.
And a lot of places don't even do those anymore, though, because they can get those deals with the bankruptcy person coming in and selling everything off. Like they don't need to.
I guess that makes sense.
Get those deals like It's like a weird. It's a weird thing. Twice now, when trying to communicate her thoughts. She's written me very long, seemingly well thought out and well written emails on her thoughts and feelings about our relationship. Only they aren't all hers. She runs them through ChatGPT to help her summarize things. No big deal, really. And to her credit, the first time she did it, she let me know that she'd run this through ChatGPT. I thought, okay, no problem. That seems like it could be a good idea if it helps you, but I'll just take that with a grain of salt in mind. So when I read the first piece, it was abundantly clear it wasn't her usual language. It left me with a strange feeling. Therefore, when I finished reading, my first question was, how much of this was ChatGPT? I was genuinely curious. Well, that didn't go over well. She was extremely upset that I was focusing on that aspect and not the feeling behind the words themselves. I was literally just trying to figure out how to respond since I really didn't know if I was responding to my wife or a chat bot. Anyways, maybe not the most sensitive thing to ask, but a legitimate question in my mind.
Yeah, I feel like if you told me that you were using ChatGPT or any form of AI to communicate with me, I'd be like, how much of this is you and how much is the robots?
To be fair, I've always felt the same way about like greeting cards too. when people are like, I got you this card to summarize my feelings. I'm like,
I
okay.
usually just write like paragraphs in a card anyway.
You do, which
so.
is like, I love that. Like, that's
Like, I get a card with a good vibe, and then I'm like, cool, I can just write whatever I want in it.
for sure. That I appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
But they're definitely like people that just like, done. See, it says I think you're the best. And it was like, okay.
I struggle really hard with cards, though, because, like, there's never one that's so specific to what I'm trying to get. Like, and we make that joke about that one bit in that comedy.
Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah, of, like, the Father's Day card that just says, you're a dad.
That's Taylor Tomlinson is one of the funniest working comedians, and that I think that's at her like first Netflix special. But she's like, yeah. Do you ever try to buy a Father's Day card? It's just like, you always supported my nope.
You were always there for me. Nope.
You guys got anyone that just says you're a dad?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Not even in like a super negative way, just in like a like sometimes what the card is saying is not what I feel. And I'm just like, I need to elaborate. So I usually write like
I always get a silly one and then
yeah.
write. Like, I'm like, aha, this silly dad joke. And then now I can like
Yeah. That's the way to go.
I'm a big fan. Shiki says, yeah, I always have to write more. I spend way too long looking for the right card. Yeah, that's why you go silly. You go silly and then you write heartfelt.
Yeah,
it's so much better than
a solid
than a heartfelt card.
Well, they do the blank ones at Walmart. There's just like a blank card. It has like generalized like theme on the front, and then like it's maybe got like one sentence or like one word in the card, and then you write the rest. And I like those a lot, but they're more expensive.
When I was traveling in literary circles for the brief period of my life, I was traveling in literary circles. There's a big tradition of buying each other books and writing in the book.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to normalize that for like regular civilian life, because I think it's one of like this, whenever I find a book and I'm like, oh yeah, this book, and then I open it and be like, oh shit, it's like the shit that people would write in a greeting card, but it's like written in the book, in the first page or two of the book. And the one nice thing about this capitalistic wasteland that we're in is just like, you know, I don't know how many times we're reprinting the same books over and over and over and over and over again. So they're basically like oftentimes like, yeah, it's but like it means something when you open it and you're just like, oh.
One of the first gifts you ever got me was Haunting of Hill House book, and you wrote in it, and it's like one of the like actually I think it is the like present that you got me that I was just like, oh my god, like this guy gets me. Yeah. It was really sweet.
I drew a little doodle of the bent neck lady.
You did.
Sam said, completely off topic, I got to Destiny Islands and Chain of Memories. This is like one of the most nostalgic video game songs to my brain. I never made it that far in that game. I'm basically waiting for Kingdom Hearts years to see it at this point. Sam says, I have a signed copy of Kaylee's book. I should hope so. I have to find it. I'm sure Selena put it somewhere nice, but I was like, I hit that week off and I was like,
it's on our bookshelf.
Oh yeah, I was never gonna find it there.
The book? On the bookshelf?
Yeah, no.
Jeffrey.
I was leaving it so like when I had time off I could read it, and it was like I kept putting it like on the same place on a table. And then it was just like gone one day.
I understand. That's well, like it was making me nervous because like we have kids and cats, and so I was like, bookshelf. It needs to go on a bookshelf.
It says, imagine a book on a bookshelf, Jeff. It's hard for me.
That again makes sense because like I put the bookshelf up and then I put all our books in it, like all of our books. I think there might be like a few that that are like,
I still have some downstairs, I think.
oh yeah, you should probably bring those up so I can put them up there.
Well,
But
some of the, again, literary ones, it was hard. I got fired from that job. I'm at a point now where I can like look at them and just feel happy about it and like, oh, good memories. But like for a time, I was like betrayal. Like I was just like,
yeah,
I had big feelings about some of that stuff. Fast forward a few months. She just now sent me a long email describing a process she would like to partake in from the latest Gottman book. Only it's very clearly another cut and paste job from ChatGPT, like a kind of a hybrid of her own thoughts and a list of 7 steps suggested by the book. Definitely not her writing. Only this time she didn't tell me that she was doing the ChatGPT thing. She just sent it as if she wrote it. Now I feel awkward about asking the same question that made her upset, i.e., how much of this is ChatGPT? But frankly, I think I deserve to know. I feel weird about corresponding with my whole heart and mind to something not written completely from her. What do you think?
yeah, I agree. I would be a little thrown by it as well. Like, I understand having trouble like wording what you like need to say. I usually, if I'm having trouble like wording what I need to say, I just send a voice note now because I'm just like, I don't know how to type this in a way that's not just jumbled word nonsense. So like, I'm just gonna like ramble at you, and there you go.
Yeah.
Congrats. So that's what I do. I wouldn't feed what I'm feeling into ChatGPT and be like, make a beautiful email.
Have this relationship argument for me, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, you're acting as a married woman of 37 who's in this argument,
Yeah.
but it has read these books. I do think it's interesting that this relationship advice point is falling on the genders that it is, because I think that like it would hit feelings like 10 times harder if it was the flip, if it was just some dude just being like, I don't know, ChatGPT, talk to my wife.
Oh my god, right? Like, what do the comments say? I want to know.
She emails you ChatGPT emails about her thoughts and feelings. What kind of weird relationship is this? Have you tried scheduling some time in her calendar for a one-on-one? And this person says it may not be technically written by her, but she had to engage with the tool to get it right. Think of it less like a mask she's tricking you with and more like a tool she's using to get herself across to you. Especially if she initiated the conversation, she must have specifically gone to the AI to make this happen. It's not like she's just sent you a chain letter from the internet. I think in this case, it sounds like an access tool. Maybe you can say, for example, it seems like ChatGPT is helping you get your thoughts out. And I'm glad you found a tool that works. I do like to hear directly from you, though. So I can feel your presence behind that. I don't need it to be perfect.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. I wouldn't want to. I don't think that if you were writing to me through ChatGPT, I'd be like, no, no, thank you.
Sam says if Kaylee started to talk to me through ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure that'd be a massive deal breaker. That also seems like a Black Mirror episode, like the couple that is like doesn't realize that like both of them are just talking to like a AI bot version of themselves, of the other. Like by the end of the episode, you realize both of them have done it. Of like, just turn this on, then you don't have to talk to your wife, and it'll respond for you. And then by the end of the episode, you realize
it's so like disconnected. Weird.
Well, there's one of the most haunting images of Black Mirror. I think it's just like burned into the core and will like, it stresses me out every time I think about it. Is that scene? It's like the first or second season. It's the one with Jodie Whittaker in it, where they have the eye things that record everything, and then they can play stuff back at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his wife are in bed and they're having sex, but both of them are just like playing different things on their.
Yeah. Like that's insane. It's wild.
It's so haunting. Like it's just like Jesus fuck, and they just like. Yeah.
Yep.
It's yeah. So the idea of like. I do think there's going to be a swell of where we've just had like so many generations in a row where technology has felt like this, like technology and progress have felt like interlinked for so many generations in a row. And I think you're going to get like a real pushback generation or two that are just going to be like, fuck all this.
Yeah.
Because it's gross. This person says, why does it matter if she used AI? If she read a beautiful poem and sent it to you saying this is how she felt about you, would you not like that either? She is trying to find a way to sort out her own thoughts and feelings, and clearly is concerned that she's not expressing herself clearly enough. She's trying to be understood. She is showing you what she's feeling, even if the words are not hers. You don't need to grade her for original content. I don't know that I agree with that take.
Yeah, if you yourself value like something coming from the heart versus, even if that means it's flawed, versus coming from any other medium, like you have a right to ask for that. It's not about grading someone on original content. It's just like wanting unfiltered honesty.
And I think part of being in a relationship with someone is getting what you are entitled to. They're not entitled to anything, but like what you get out of a relationship that other people that have a relationship with the person don't get is the mess, right? Like you're subscribing to like I want the way Silver Lining Playbook puts it, the sloppy, messy parts of you too, because social media does not show any of that stuff off, and that's the stuff that we're like hiding from the world. But like that's the good stuff. That's when you love a person. That's what you love, when they can't fully articulate like what they're saying. You love when their words are messy. You love that bit and like trying to. I get it's why this like AI stuff is so messy, and that one Monday we spent like hours talking about it, because like there is some measure of like of
you have a hair stuck to your beard. It's my hair and it's bothering me.
Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. There is some measure of just like there are people with different ability ranges, and it can be like possibly very ableist to be like, no, any use of ChatGPT is inherently wrong, right? It like we have to consider that, but at the same hand, it's like if you're in a relationship with someone, like filtering that through like some perfection tool is you're missing the good stuff. Sam said, I'd rather flawed. It's I'd rather flawed raw from you than a prompt from ChatGPT. Yeah, same. And that's what's interesting, because it's like that's what I want out of media too, and that's what I want out of art, is things that are flawed and you can see the wrinkles and the edges and everything else. And the inherent nature of something like ChatGPT, if you set aside the plagiarism, you set aside everything else, which is like a big ass to set all that stuff aside, the inherent nature of that stuff is that it's like it pushes everything towards the middle. It pushes everything towards this like this perfection, quote unquote, and that's at exact odds of what like makes art important and good, in my opinion. But yeah, I think there's more of this coming. Kind of a bummer, but the world we live in. My 21-year-old female and my boyfriend, 23 male, are going to a female friend's wedding whom I've never met and wants me to split the cost.
What's happening?
A 21-year-old female and boyfriend, 23-year-old male, are going to a female friend's wedding of the boyfriend who I've never met and wants me to split the cost,
Split the cost of what? Like the hotel or something?
I guess. Me, 21-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 23-year-old male, have been dating for a little over a year. One of his female friends is getting married this summer, and we are planning on taking a trip to the wedding a few hours away, with me as his plus one.
I mean, I don't know. We have pretty shared finances, but there are couples that don't and like get like weird about it. So like do they normally do that? Like split things? I think would be like what I know I'm like just like early on judging this, but like I think it's just if you have split finances that's and you normally split things, I don't think that's something that's like crazy.
I've never met this girl before. I assume that since I don't know the girl and my boyfriend invited me, he would be covering the cost of the one-night stay in the hotel room. After talking to him, he was assuming that I was going to split the cost with him. I don't think it makes sense that he wants me to split the cost to go to the wedding of a person that I've never met before. Any advice or tips on how to approach this? Sam says, I try really hard not to care about finances. Same. I would say, though, the etiquette here is that she's right. I think if you get...
Invited.
If you change this away from a romantic partner and be like, hey, man, I need a plus one for this wedding. I know we're just buds, but like, could you come as my plus one so I
Yeah.
don't have to go by myself? Okay, here's your bill for half of it. Like, it's a weird...
That is weird, yeah. Because it's like, it's not if you like discuss it like, hey, we're going to go to this wedding and I'm not like flush with cash right now. Is it cool if we like split this? But just like to automatically assume that they're splitting it. But again, if you've split everything up until this, I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't know their finances or what they do with their money.
My general...
Like when you and I went to C2E2 the first year, I thought you were going to ask me to split the bill.
Why?
I don't know, because I've done that before. Like with my ex, when we would go to cons and stuff, we'd just split it.
But I invited you.
Yeah.
But like, you wouldn't be going if I didn't go like, hey, do you want to tag along to this thing?
I guess. I'm not saying like I was like, oh my god, he did not. Like I expected you to.
Oh, I've always operated under like the principle of like, if you invite someone to something, don't expect them to chip in and just be happy if they do. Like,
I don't know. Maybe I just.
like when I like if it's like a kid's birthday dinner or something, and I'm like, hey, so and so relative, you should really show up. It would mean something.
Yeah,
to them.
that's.
You.
I think specifically in this instance, just traveling with a partner, my brain was so used to like being asked to split it that I'm not saying it makes sense to me. I'm just saying what I was used to.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a general like etiquette here of just like
Do they live together?
they've been together a year, it doesn't say. The first question is the one you asked, though. Do you guys generally split the cost of things? I think that's a place to start understanding the perspectives here. This person says, in my relationship, we always split costs evenly. It's about mutual respect. However, I understand that this trip might be different for you. He probably wants to create a positive experience, introduce you to his friend. Arguing about the hotel cost could dampen the mood and make him regret inviting you. So I do not care about money this hard. And I don't. Maybe that means I will never have money. I just like what? What?
It is really weird to get stressed out about like to the point that you're ruining a trip. I mean, I guess it's one thing if you're like, oh shit, we're here and we don't have money. Like, what are we gonna do? That's one thing. But like, if you paid for the hotel already, you have the money to get there. You have money for food and drinks. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a wedding. What else are you gonna do besides
Right.
eat food and drink? Like,
But my thing is always like, so like sometimes we go to a con and we specifically like are like, hey, we are looking for someone to go with us to split the hotel room so that we have less of a
yeah,
hit.
you're upfront about it, like right from the get go. I think the problem is this dude just assumed that she was going to split it with him.
Right, but like I would never go to like
Me.
unless I needed it. But like me and you operate more as a unit in those kind of conversations, and it's like oftentimes.
Yeah, there's just like a real open like communication of like, hey, I don't have money for this. Like, can you spot me or whatever?
Right.
Like, and it's not. I don't know. I don't really get that. Like, it feels weird because again, like, I was in a relationship before where like money was weird, so my brain is still like, wait, I don't owe you for this thing, or like, wait, you don't want me to buy that thing for myself? Like, you can buy it. Like, what? Like 5 years later, I'm still in that weird mindset of like, if I don't spend my own money on this thing, then I'm like somehow taking advantage of you or something. It's really weird.
Oh.
But
Yeah, no, Sam says I don't get feeling upset. Me either. Sam says I think I'm too broke to care this much. When I was younger, I had a job before my best friend, so I always bought him food when we were out, and he felt bad. I was like, dude, I'd rather spend time with you than eat alone. And now as a broke adult, I'm happy to help people out as much as I can afford. I don't get feeling upset. I'm the same way. There was back when times were good a couple of years ago, and I was making decent money for the first time, and my definition of decent is not other people's definition of decent. But we would go out places and I would get the bill and people would be like, oh my god, you need to stop doing that. And I would say like, no, there's probably going to come a time where I can't do this. I would rather do this while I can. And lo and behold, that time has come, and it's like now I have to be the one like, oh my god, thanks for getting that. That's always just kind of how I viewed it, is that if you're not weird about money, it all kind of works out in the wash over time. Like it just kind of all like I got you for this, then you get me for that, and then it's like we figure it out as time goes on. And like
yeah,
it's like money is, that's always been my view on it. Now other people disagree, and they want like a more, and for them it's a real hard boundary, and I think that's okay, especially if they have some trauma linked to it. And that is true of a lot of people where they're just like, no, I lent money at this time and it was like, oh, I'll get you, there's some people that have had finances, used against them in ways that are like abusive and stuff, and they are always going to look at money a little differently. And that has to be okay, even if it doesn't make sense to my brain. And I would really struggle with a person being in a romantic relationship with a person like that, or even like a really close friendship with a person like that, especially if they weren't good at like setting the boundaries themselves. Of just like,
yeah, like if they just expected it to be like a given kind of thing, then yeah, no, direct communication is important.
Sam says, I've told Shiki I'm okay with sharing our money if/when she wants, but because of her abusive ex, she is really hesitant to do that because he was super controlling. So we keep it separate, and that's totally fine. Yeah, I've had to, and I have to get a little bit better at it. But I know for me, it's this thing of like, there are times where like I'll be doing something and it will feel that way to Selena in ways that like I don't think either of us understand. It's like, oh, okay, this represents a different feeling to you than it does for me. I think in a perfect world where there's no weird feelings about it, I think, and if we're gonna like look at it entirely objectively removed of feelings, which is impossible to do, like to look at anything in a vacuum, right? I think if in a vacuum, pooled finances just makes more sense by every objective measurement. You have to, once you pool finances, though, you have to have a degree of communication
right back.
and stuff that that is sometimes difficult or impossible, or like if someone has a trauma background with that stuff, like might be a non-starter. Like they might just be like, I can't do that. I can't do that again. My ex-wife, I love her. She's a great person. It's part of why we weren't a good fit, though. Is that it was that we were kids. Even though we were kids, she already had trauma surrounding that stuff. She's just someone that has just like that ledger in her brain that remembers that, like, oh, I'm supposed to have this money coming from this person, and that kind of always touches and affects those relationships. And that's fine. That's not something that if someone has that they can just like magically flip off. Like but that makes them not a good match for a person that, and I was just, and she would call me up and would be like, I'm having a tough day. Is it okay if I get Wendy's? And I would be like, yeah, why would I care if you got Wendy's? That's fine. Go for it. Like, why would I care? Like, it's especially like, you're making the majority of the money right now. You can go get some Wendy's. It's not going to bug me. Go enjoy your Wendy's. And I would be like, I'm driving from here to here. Like, I need fuel, like literal body fuel to like get there. And if I stop and make something, for me, the currency that always matters more than money is time, right? So I'm just like, if I stop home, it's gonna add like 20-30 minutes. I'm just gonna run through and get Wendy's real quick. And okay, I got Wendy's, already doing the thing, and then I would get home that night and it would be like, did you have Wendy's today? I'd be like, what? Yeah, I did, for XYZ reasons. It's like, well, but before I get Wendy's, I call and ask you and make sure it's okay. And I was like, which I've never asked you to do. Like, I don't care if you get Wendy's.
I get sad when there's food involved and I'm not involved, but it's not about the money. It's about that I wanted that food. Like, I'll come into the store and you'll be like, you'll have like a wrapper or whatever from like whatever food you ordered that day. I'll be like, oh, you got Jimmy John's or whatever. Like, I would like some Jimmy John's.
Like, you weren't here.
But like, I'm never like, you spent the money on Jimmy John's.
Yeah. But for me, the currency that matters most is time. And so, like, in those arguments, what I didn't know at the time is, like, what I was arguing for is, like, well, I didn't want to stop and call you to ask you if it was okay to get Wendy's, because the whole reason I was getting Wendy's was, like, I wanted to save time. And, we had that yesterday where it was, like, I didn't realize I was stressing out. And it was just because... we were getting pizza, and Selena was like, I was like, oh, cool, you want to grab it on the way home? And Selena was like, I'm peopled out. Can I come home, get you, pick you up? We go then to the pizza place, pick it up, and then come home. And then my brain just started internally going,
ah! Yeah, but you texted me and said, yeah, for sure. So this whole time I'm operating him in the car, I'm like, yeah.
Which is not good. You're
we're
supposed to tell your partner when you're stressed out.
And then later that night, it was like, no, it happened like we were in the car because I like asked if we were going to get drinks and you were like, you said something. I forgot what it was, but I was just like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, I'm really stressed out about time. I'm like, oh, I thought we had time. I'm sorry.
But like, yeah, because you were like,
Stain on it.
I'm sorry, but like I was like, hey, can you pick it up on the way home? And you're like, I can't, I'm people out. And then instead of being like, okay, then we'll do delivery, I was immediately like, okay, well, what if we do delivery? Like, I offered it like as a possibility space. And at no time was I like, by the way, I'm stressed about time. At no time was I an adult who actually informed my partner that, like, hey, this is a thing that I'm stressed out about. I was just like, I offered delivery, and then she was like, oh, I don't want to spend the money on delivery. And then at that point, that's where you be an adult and you go like, I would rather spend the money than the time because I got to do X, Y, and Z. But instead, I was just like, sounds good!
Like, what? Okay.
Except I was in text. And so, like, I was like, sounds good! And then Selena got, oh, sounds good. All right.
Yep.
It's fine. You just have to communicate this stuff. Assuming that someone's going to split a hotel is weird. Man. Also, I just think as a general rule, like, even if you don't share your finances, if you remove this from a romantic partnered relationship, if I was like, hey buddy, so like when I was doing stand up, there was a lot of like, hey man, I want to be able to stay awake on the drive. I'm doing a one nighter in Wisconsin, so it's 9 hours there, 9 hours back. You want to come with me? Like, yeah, totally, man. And the general like assumed thought was he's paying the gas, he's paying the, like, if there is a, usually the hotels are free when you do stand up or whatever, but he's not coming in and being like, hey man, can you give me gas money? It's like you're there for, but he's also not buying your food, like, but it's like he invited you along, thus he is paying for like the currency of the trip. It's I think that probably makes sense. All right. By the way, the Whatnot link just went in the thing that's whatnot.com/invite/dorkduck. You follow that, they'll give you $15. You don't even have to spend it with us. If you spend it anywhere on Whatnot, they give us a $5 credit, and we can buy something with it. You can buy comics from us on that too, though. So if you want to like hit it and just like use that credit to buy comic books from us that supports us, they just make you pay the shipping. And that would be hugely helpful. And also just the amount of followers we get on that platform and stuff is helpful regardless, even if you never buy anything. Also, what? He's a big boy. Also, YouTube, been putting a lot of work into the YouTube channel. Selena's My Side playthrough is going up on there right now. Please check it out. It's been fun editing those and putting them up. Only 2 more for 50. Yeah, we're trying to get 50 subscribers on there. It would be a huge help. We have raid messages. They look like this and this. You can spam them as we go. Say hi to somebody here. Please be kind to our friends. Let's see. And Cheeky is indeed on, so we're gonna go say hi over there. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome for the stream.
Ugh.
And we're gonna go raid Sheikykins. Or some say Shikykins. Thank you guys all for hanging out. This does it for us for the week. We'll be back Monday morning.
Yay.
Be honest, be kind,
Ow.
be useful, and live a good fucking life. We love you.